a fun family evening, and we all knew he was leaving for Durban the next day. We were going off on our family weekend to Nelspruit or somewhere in, I think, Mpumalanga. I can't remember. And Kairo was going home. So it was just a normal family evening, and the next day was all the goodbyes, very special goodbyes. Now that I think about it, at the time I didn't think about it, because on that Thursday night, Kenan asked me to wake him early in the morning so he can say goodbye to Kairo. And as I was backing the car, he said goodbye to her, and he said, I'm going to miss you so much, and I want you to know that, I want you to always know that Daddy loves you, and I'm going to miss you. So at the time he was just saying goodbye to her, but now it means so much more, because those were the last words he spoke to her. And then he said goodbye to Nadia. He brought out the most beautiful giggle in her. The house was always filled with Nadia's giggles, and I missed that, because I think he was the only person that brought that out in her. And he said goodbye to her. And then my sister Trudy and Trudy was here from Cape Town, and she arrived on the Wednesday we were leaving. And he asked me about the car, because we're driving, and he said, Mom, have you checked the wheel alignment? And I said, yes, I have. And he said, where? I said, I didn't. I said, at the garage. He said, no, Mom, you don't check wheel alignment at the garage. You have to take it into BMW.
Yes.
And then I had to go and do some shopping for the trip, and he asked me, it was about lunchtime, and he asked me if I would be back, because he's leaving at 3:00. And I said, I don't know. And he said, also now in hindsight, he said, well, then I won't see you again. And he gave me a big hug, and he said, I love you. And he gave my sister, and he blew kisses as we drove off. So that was how we said goodbye.
Wow, it's really emotional,
and that was the last time.
Yeah, the last time you spoke to him.
And how that was the last interaction I had with him, because he usually calls quite a bit, but he never called me during that day. But obviously because he knew I was leaving, so
yeah.
That was the
and
last.
In the media there were these allegations of him being warned not to come back to Durban and being warned to stay away from Durban. Do you have any idea if those warnings were true?
I don't at all. Well, firstly, there are so many things said in the media, and I have learned through my own experience and through Kenan's experiences of the media that, I take everything with a pinch of salt. That's not where I go to. That's not my go-to place for my information and my truth and my reality. So I don't know about it. I have never been told that by him, and I learned it from the media, to be honest.
And had he been to Durban before the incident happened?
I think so. I believe so. I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure he has.
Okay. And then, obviously, on the night of the incident, it must have been extremely traumatic for you as a mother and for your family.
Yeah.
But how did you learn of your son's passing?
So as I said to you, we were traveling on a weekend away, and we were staying over with my cousin and her husband in Pretoria, and we were planning to leave on the Saturday morning. So that Friday evening we arrived there, and we went out to dinner, and probably got back from dinner at around, I would say just after 10 actually, or just around 10, might have been a little bit later, but we were all sitting in the lounge, and my brother-in-law and my sister was there as well, obviously, and luckily, my phone was on charge because the battery died at the restaurant. So when I came back, I put it on charge, and it was turned off completely. So I think that was divine intervention from God, because I don't know if I could handle seeing something like that on social media. So my younger son, Stefan, phoned Trevor, my brother-in-law, and I heard him say, hi, Steph. And he went outside, and then he came back, and after a while, and he sat down beside me. And my sister, I thought he was just, we have that kind of relationship, the family, so I thought he was just being he never does that, but I thought, oh, look, my brother-in-law is loving me, and my sister and my cousin's faces, I could see the expression on their faces, and I turned around, and the look on his face it just told a story, and he said nothing, but I thought it was my mom, and I said, is it Mom? What happened to my mom? And my sister said, Trevor, what's wrong? And he said, no, it's Kenan.
That must have been the biggest shock of your life.
And I said, I just said, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? And he said, I said, what happened? And he said, he was shot. And I don't know, I think I screamed. I think I ended up on the floor. I can't remember. I think your body, I think our bodies protect. I think something kicks in and you kind of go into self-preservation mode.
Yeah.
But I can remember just screaming on the floor, and I said, no. I said, call them again, because we didn't have the details. And I said, call them again. And I'm sure he's just in hospital. And you kind of try and find a different answer. And then eventually I don't know at what point I think only the next day, maybe when I had to go and tell Kairo that her dad's gone. That's because I had to do that the next morning. And I think that's only when I really realized that he wasn't there anymore.
And what was that conversation like, telling his beautiful daughter, Kairo, that her father has passed? It must have been incredibly difficult.
Yeah, so I had, I always talk to the psychologist at school, and so I've been told how to deal with death and how to share or how to tell a child when somebody has died, and they always say you have to be to the point and not say you went to Jesus or something like that, or you went to heaven. So I think, thank you, pleasure. So what I did was so Zintle couldn't deal with it, or she couldn't tell her. She said she just couldn't, and I decided myself and Brittany, Stephen's girlfriend, and my sister went to our house the Saturday morning after we haven't slept at all that night, because and we kind of, she was there with her mom and Zama, the lady that works with them. And I just said to her, we have some really sad news. I said, your dad died. And she looked at me and she said, she didn't react really. She said, what, how? She said, how did he die? And I said, no, she said, yeah, how did he die, or what happened? And I said, some bad people hurt him. And she said, no, but what did they do? And I said, they shot him. And she cried terribly, and I didn't think she understood. We gave it some time, and we held her, and we took her down. I thought we should go downstairs and maybe get some hot chocolate or something, just to take her mind off things. And I told her that she could ask questions. And she played, and I think she went out. And I think at that point I just couldn't. And they were, Zintle and Brittany, them all were consoling me. And then she came in and she said, but he's coming back, right? He'll be okay. And then I had to tell him, no, he's not going to be okay. He'll never be back. And we had to bury him. And, I had to tell him about a grave. And that's how it happened.
I can't even imagine how difficult it must have been. But she's such a beautiful light in this world. I mean, at the memorial service, just seeing her come up to Nadia and hug her and be so genuine about it at such a young age was so beautiful to see. So he raised a beautiful little girl.
Yes, he did. And he was a great dad.
Yeah, he was.
He was such a loving and caring father.
He was, and we saw that on social media.
And I think, and that's probably part of the saddest. There's so many children out there whose dads are around and they don't see them. And I think he really made a point of being in his child's life, even if him and Zintle were not together. But also we have a beautiful blended family.
You do.
And she has so much love around her and so much care. And I mean, even Zintle and Nadia right now, they co-parenting.
I saw that post. They have such a beautiful relationship.
And Bongani is just probably the realest man I've ever, in this time now, there's so many people going at him on social media, calling him and telling him he's not a man and he's weak. But I promise you, that is what a real man is. That is really what a real man is about.
Yeah. Just shifting focus briefly, it was very unfortunate that the CCTV footage made its way onto social media.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how that was possible, how it was leaked?
I wish I knew. No, I have no idea. I don't know. It was just there the next day, and even, obviously the investigation is going on and the police are keeping us updated, but they don't know either. We've actually never discussed how it was leaked, but I'm sure if they knew, they would have told us.
But Lynn, I think a question that is asked amongst his fans and the people that loved and supported him is why? Who would have wanted something like this to happen to someone as amazing as AKA? As a family, how do you even put that together? Did he have enemies? Did he have anyone that...
Look, Abigail, again, for me, I don't know. Because as I said to you, I don't want to believe that he had enemies. I don't want to believe that somebody would have hated him that much, or I don't know if it was hate. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Even if somebody disliked him, I don't know if it would have been enough to actually plan, calculate, and plan and sit down and discuss how we're going to take him out like this, because that for me is a very calculated act. So no, look, as people, we're always going to have people who don't agree with us, who don't like us, who has something against us, but I can't imagine that anybody would want to. I would never have thought that anybody would actually want to.
And that's why you were so at ease with him going to Durban and everything was fine. There was also this controversy around his friends and the people that were with him on that night on social media. People were making allegations about certain friends of his and the bodyguard. As a family, how did you react to all the pain that you've experienced and keep going? It's beautiful to see.
Thank you. It's difficult.
I can imagine.
But I can imagine. You need to understand that there's a higher purpose.
Of course. There was so much talk about how much AKA, or his name is pronounced Kiernan, has grown as a man. His faith was beautiful. His relationship with Nadia was beautiful. His relationship with his daughter Kairo. Just talk to us about that transformation that we all saw over the last months of his life. It was beautiful to see.
It was beautiful to see, and it was even more beautiful to experience. He was just a light. He literally has just found God, and he was not shy to say that. He was, I don't know, he was just literally shining. There was just this light shining from within. And yes, it happened. Kenan was always spiritual. Kenan was always, not just spiritual, but Kenan always believed, Kenan was always a Christian, and he always believed in God, and, he was never shy to say that. And I can remember, he always asked my mom, Mom, will you pray for me? He always believed in those things, and but it just became much deeper in the last couple of months, because he had a spiritual guide, mentor guide.
Yes, I remember he said that in one of his interviews.
Kabelo Mabalani, he was really spending a lot of time with Kabelo, and he was going to their home cells or their sessions. I don't even know what they call them, but on a Tuesday night, every Tuesday night. I saw Kabelo recently, and because I just wanted to understand, because he was selfish about it sometimes. He would, you would say, I can remember he only took Nadia to the very last one, and I said to him once, can I come with you? And he says, no, this is my thing.
It's my thing.
It's my thing. And so I just saw it. I saw him read the Bible. I saw him, he would tell me when I'm there, he would say, Mom, for the next 15 minutes or so, please don't disturb me. I'm doing my devotions. Wow. He would sit down and he would do that. And he was very clear about what he was doing. So it wasn't a hidden thing, it was beautiful. And
beautiful to see.
Yeah. And he just grew with that. And in his faith in the last, I don't even know. Yeah.
You mentioned Nadia, and like I said earlier, their relationship was also so beautiful to watch. And I follow her on Instagram, so I see her posts of him, and she misses him terribly. Of course she does. Just backtracking a little bit, what was your first conversation with Nadia like when she first heard, and who relayed that information to her?
Oh. I can't remember. It must have been, I don't know. I can't remember if it must be one of the people in the team. To be honest with you, I actually can't remember exactly how she heard, but it must have been one of the people in the team. I do know that she went with one of the other guys in the team, and they left for Durban immediately. She drove to Durban. That is what I can remember. A lot of the things, Abigail, I must tell you, it's a blur.
Of course, because it was a very traumatic time.
It's such a blur for me.
But something that a lot of people also enjoyed to see was your relationship with Nadia and how you brought her into this family of yours, and even after everything happened, you've still been loving, and you've still been supportive, and you've still been this beautiful person that you are to her. Talk to me a little bit about your relationship with her and your family.
I heard you saying that how we brought her into the family. In this family, we don't bring people in, they step into their light and they find their space.
I love that.
There's space for everybody. And you just have to find your spot, and you need to shine in your spot in this family, but you know that it's there. So my relationship with Nadia is literally based on that. She the way Nadia treated Kiernan, the way she made him, I don't know even what the word is. It was the way she loved him, and the way he loved her. She loved him because she loved her. I think she was. That's just how I look at it. When somebody is able and in position to love themselves, they are able to love the next person. And Nadia, and maybe I'm wrong, but this is just how I see it, she was capable of love because she knows how to love herself. And that is where our relationship stems from as well, and where my relationship with Cynthia, for instance, comes from.
And people struggle to grasp the dynamic. I've noticed, because everyone is so open to each other, everyone is so loving towards each other.
I struggle with that. I tell you, I look at some of the things and I think, what do people want? Do they want people
to hate each other?
Do they want a little girl that is constantly laughing because she's got this beautiful family? Kairo came back, the school teacher actually phoned me and she said to me, they had a family, their theme was about family, and Kairo had to say, every child had to say what they love most about their family. And her answer was that what I love most about my family is that we all love each other.